I hate to admit I was wrong, but I actually was wrong.
Oh.
And I'm admitting it.
Oh.
Okay. I never thought that the USDA would actually grant a state a waiver to ban products on food stamps because it's never been done before. It's been requested for 20 years and it has always been denied. Well, move over. Nebraska is the first state to be granted a federal waiver to ban the purchase of soda and energy drinks on food stamps. Now, unfortunately, there is not a huge amount of information as far as how this is going to work, okay? But this is going to affect 152,000 people in Nebraska that are on food stamps. And according to their governor, his name is Jim Pillen, he says there's absolutely zero reason for taxpayers to be subsidizing purchases of soda and soft drinks. SNAP is about helping families in need get healthy foods into their diets, but there's nothing nutritious about the junk we're removing with today's waiver. I hate to say it, but can you show me a little more privilege, Governor of Nebraska? Okay.
Correct.
Second, there is a reason why SNAP has never been nutritionally regulated. Okay. Now, the SNAP program typically has SNAP Ed, which is a nutrition-based program to basically educate and inform recipients of how to eat healthier. Okay. Right. But oh wait, USDA just cut all of SNAP Ed, so never mind. We're not interested in telling people how to get healthier. Okay.
No. We want to tell them what's healthy.
Yeah. This is simply a way to cut benefits. It has nothing to do with the health benefit, because there have been many studies that have shown that when you look at the amount of money that people on food stamps spend on soda, it is not higher or lower than those that are just low income or just regular folks. Okay. There's no difference in their spending habits. Now, there was a bunch of reports stating at one time that it was like 20% of food stamps was used for soda, that 5 times the amount was spent on soda. Well, those have all been debunked. They now have evidence to state that the percentage that people are spending on, sugary drinks and sodas and energy drinks is less than 4% of the total. Yeah. But if you look at the average American who is not on food stamps, they spend upwards of 7 to 8%. So food stamp recipients spend less, but now we're going to make it to where they can't spend it at all. Okay. Now, here's where it gets me. Okay. Because this is a domino effect. Okay. There are 6 other states. We've got Arkansas, Colorado, Kansas, Indiana, Iowa, and West Virginia that have all submitted requests for waivers. Okay. Some of them are banning certain foods and drinks or drinks. In some cases, there is one waiver that's requesting access to hot foods, because if you are on food stamps, you cannot purchase a hot rotisserie chicken. You have to purchase a cold one, which makes no sense to me whatsoever, but that's the way the law works. So in order to change it, the states have to request a waiver.
Right.
Okay.
I'm glad they did. That one I can get on board with.
That one I'm totally fine. Okay.
That makes sense.
Now, the deputy director at Food Research and Action Center, which is a nonprofit advocacy group, basically states that this waiver is ignoring decades of evidence showing that incentive-based approaches, not punitive restrictions, are the most effective and dignified path to improving nutrition and reducing hunger. Basically, what she is stating is if you want to get people on food stamps to eat healthier, you have to incentivize it. Meaning that when you show that they can get more food by purchasing healthy stuff, because there's a lot of places that if you go to a farmer's market, you get double the amount of food stamps that you can use. Like, so if you have $25 of food stamp money, they will give you $50 worth of credit to purchase fruits and vegetables. Okay. So if you're going to make it worth their while to purchase healthy items, that's actually going to improve health outcomes. Whereas restricting it is not going to make anyone healthier. Okay. Now, here's a little side note about food stamps, because I didn't know this, and this is fascinating to me. Did you know that every dollar spent on food stamps directly adds $1.79 to the local community?
Okay. I think I did do that. I knew it was more than face value.
Yeah. So almost double. Okay. And you may be wondering, how is that possible? Well, that $1.79 that benefits the community is because it's paying for the employees at the grocery store. Okay. Yeah. It's purchasing food products that then goes on to manufacturers. It's also going to farmers who grew the produce. And then all the transportation companies that did the products and the different produce items. And then so much more. Think about, when you purchase food, it's not just, very rarely do you go in and just buy a cucumber. Okay. Right. Normally you're buying products that have more than one ingredient. Okay. Whether they're locally grown or however. But so all these cuts to the USDA that the USDA has done to food stamps, or is trying to do, they are not only going to cut the amount of money that somebody on food stamps can spend, but it's also going to directly cut the amount of money that's spent in local communities. So now you are talking about mom and pop grocery stores that are going to sell less product because people have less food stamp money to purchase food. So they're going to have to lay off employees. Okay. Which means they're not going to be able to purchase produce from local farmers. So then those farms are no longer going to be able to make money. So you see how I mean? It's like a trickle effect. Yeah. So instead of cutting these programs, we should be adding more money to them so people can buy healthy products, because everybody quote unquote says, oh, healthier costs more. Well, then why are we not giving low income people more money to buy food?
Well, that just makes sense. Why would you do that?
Cut their Medicaid and their food stamps so we can do tax cuts for gazillionaires. I forgot. What was I thinking? I'm so sorry.
I need a tax break on my tanning bed.
Oh, yes, because with this new big, beautiful bill, if you are a tanning bed operator, you will now qualify for tax cuts. Whereas if you need an actual hospital bed, screw you, it doesn't matter.
Now, that seems to be the way that things are going regulatory wise, right? Yeah. We're restricting people who require any level of assistance, no matter what that looks like. Any level of help. And we're just like, nah. But if you have an obscene amount of money, we've just got handouts for you all over the place.
Well, and I feel like if they were actually accomplishing something, okay? Mm-hmm. So their goal is to get families healthier that are on assistance, okay? Why does that mean cutting soda? If I'm trying to get people healthier, I need to get them more education on how to be healthy. Yeah. I need to incentivize them to be healthy, because everybody knows you're more likely to go after the carrot than you are the stick. Okay. Yeah. And we haven't even talked about. So now we're going to require cashiers in Nebraska to be the food police. Oh, sorry, you can't purchase soda. Let's get over the loudspeaker. We have a soda purchase on food stamps on checkout number 5. I need a key. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
This is going to up the cost. And this is one of the reasons why waivers have always been rejected by the USDA, because, we're talking about 20 years worth, okay? The USDA has always said there is no clear standards to define certain foods as good or bad. And that just comes with that the poison is in the dose. Any food can be bad if you eat enough of it, okay?
You can eat too many apples.
Yeah, the agency has very well said that restrictions would be difficult to implement. It's going to be complicated, and then it's going to be costly, okay? Yeah. And none of that has been proven to change recipients' food purchases or reduce health problems such as obesity. We've known this for 20 years. So why all of a sudden now in 2025 have we decided that cutting what you can purchase is going to make you healthier?
I don't know.
I
I'd be
feel like
curious.
these are the same people that think that if you tell a toddler no, they will stop.
I don't know. I think we got a lot of toddlers at the helm right now, or not enough
That is
adults in the
very
room.
plausible because their logic skills, their reasoning, or just the fact that they don't understand what kind of domino effect this is, that they don't understand that food stamps don't just help those that are low income. It literally helps the local economy where those SNAP dollars are spent.
It lifts up the community. Like, that's the thing, is we've moved from a society where, and it's been this way for a while, and it makes me honestly quite angry, that we're no longer looking out for one another. It's turned to a purely punitive environment where if you don't think like I do, you should be punished. You don't eat the way I do, you should be punished. You don't think the way that I do, you should be punished. And the problem is, like, conversations don't happen anymore.
No. And here's the thing, 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, if you moved into a house, you knew who your neighbors were.
Yeah.
Okay. They did a recent study that showed that like 60% of people, whether they lived in a house, an apartment, a condo, or whatever, they had no idea who their neighbors were and they had never spoken to them.
Yeah.
Okay. There are people that would rather throw food away than offer it to their neighbors. Okay.
Yeah.
We have gotten so self-absorbed as people, as a government, that we no longer look out for each other. And we sure as hell are not looking out for those that are unfortunate or who have fallen on hard times through no fault of their own. And this is mind-blowing to me. I was recently working with a homeless mission, okay? Yeah. And they were doing basically outreach, trying to get people to understand how bad homelessness is. Because most people think homeless people are people that have a drug addiction, who made bad choices, and now they live under a bridge, okay? In reality, most families are 2 paychecks away from being homeless, okay? And you know what? The homeless that you see that are drug addicts, most of them didn't start that way. Most of them just got down on their luck. They lost their apartment. They couldn't find another one. They lost their job. They lost a spouse. They got sick. And now they're drug addicts to avoid their reality. They would rather be a drug addict and be out of their mind than have to deal with what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And I tell you, people look down at those that get assistance, whether it be food stamps, Section 8, live in a housing authority, anything like that. Those people are trying to get up. They are trying to get somewhere. But no, let's just go ahead and cut all those benefits. And then let's be shocked in 5 years when we have a higher instance of health problems because people lost their health coverage. We have a humongous population of people that are homeless. And then on top of that, we're going to have so many people that are in jail for shoplifting because they couldn't afford food and they went and stole it and then got caught. Okay. I see nothing but bad coming from this. So let us know down below. What do you think is going to happen when we cut food stamp spending, when we restrict food stamps spending? And do you think that these other 6 states should go ahead and get approved as well? Let us know your thoughts below.